Hello, freaks, geeks, nerds, basement dwellers, weirdos online, and a lot of people I really have no wish running into in real life. Welcome to the War Zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And things are happening down at Pokrovsk. We're gonna take a quick look at the front line at large. We need to take a look at the Kupiansk and stuff like that, but. Uh, More importantly, it does appear as if Ukraine has begun achieving securing initiative and gaining momentum at Pokrovsk. Things seems to be, at the moment at least, turning in Ukraine's favor at Pokrovsk. Uh, so we have the two key battlefields that I've been talking about for, well, is it a year now? Kursk slash Sumy and Pokrovsk, these two battlefields where Ukraine has the potential of breaking the Russian army. And up in Sumy, things are going in Ukraine's favor. Things were going in Ukraine's favor even in Kursk. And the same thing goes for Pokrovsk. I've been talking about this for a year, how Ukraine can crush the Russian army at Pokrovsk. And now it seems the Russians might have overextended, exposing their flanks, and the Ukrainians are exploiting gaps in the Russian lines and are pushing the Russians back. So we're going to take a look at that. And we're also going to take a look at Kupiansk, the third important battlefield that I highlighted in a earlier video. So let's get into it. Okay, we're going to do a quick look, take a quick look at the front line, and then we're going to finish it off with the events down at Pokrovsk. So zooming in here on Sumy Oblast, we can see here Russia's bombing Ukrainian positions out in the middle of this field. Not sure what's going on here. This is a wide open field. Might indicate that you have trench lines here, potentially. But at any rate, it's an indication that Ukraine is trying to surround and attack Oleksivka from the north, northwest even. Oleksivka is in trouble. Ukraine is closing in on this small town. That's that. Kupiansk, obviously, the push here at Milove has had an effect. Ukraine has allocated resources to Milove from Vovchansk and Kupiansk, and Ukraine. Russia has been able to exploit that fact, and they have come down to the north and west of Kupiansk. A much stronger push than we initially thought. There were reports of this move, and I was curious, is it just infiltrators or is it actually infantry units? It appears to be infantry units. And they're trying to push south here to reach the forest here, and so that they can cut this supply line if they manage that. The Russians, that is. Ukraine only has the southern highway here that can support Kupiansk. So the battle ain't over yet, not by a long shot. It all comes down to if Ukraine can prevent this push from coming down into the forest and threatening the supply lines. You can see you have some suburbs here that the Russians can push through to reach the final supply line if they want to well and truly isolate Kupiansk. We'll see how that, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. But this move, yes, was dramatic when it popped up, but not much has happened since, right? We'll see how that pans out. The front line is pretty much same usual. Russia has made important advances, finally. Finally. I guess if you're a Vatnik, finally. But it has taken them quite some time to get shit done here at Toretsk. And now they are eventually nearing to reaching the dams, the lakes, in order to trap the Ukrainians in this pocket. Took them a while. We'll see if the Ukrainians, the Ukrainians should withdraw from this area and just give up territory, shouldn't they? Just to save the lives of the men fighting in this area. In my opinion, Ukrainian High Command might have a different opinion than I do. We're passing by Pokrovsk for a bit. Russia is advancing here into a small town here. Ukraine is applying pressure at Tolstoy and Seleny High. Russia is advancing, and POW is taken all over the place here at this Zaporizhzhia front line. Russian POWs, Ukrainian POWs, and you can see how the Russians are continuously moving up along the shoreline here to outflank Stepnohirsk to eventually launch an assault from the west here. That's the front line very extremely briefly, because now we're gonna head on over to Pokrovsk to see what's going on here, and we can zoom in here for a moment. You can see Ukraine has pushed the Russians back. They've cleared out the town of infiltration units. Russia has established a presence here in the southern parts of town, trying to push in, but the Ukrainian tanks have been reducing high-rise buildings to rubble where the Russians are trying to establish a presence. So Stalingrad 2025, it has begun, like I said in a previous video. Russia's trying to push in. It's slow going, it's deadly as hell, and they haven't even reached they're on the outskirts here of these high-rise buildings, and they've only been advancing through these smaller suburban areas so far, and can't seem to be able to breach into town itself. That said, though, take a look what's happening here, where you had the push towards Smyrna, and now we see Ukrainians all over the mining facility here, or factories and what have you. Ukraine is pushing in with the pickup trucks into the middle of Novoekonomice, and Russian drone strikes in the south of Ekonomice. And if we take a look at the ISW map here you can see how Ukraine has gained control coming in from the south according to ISW. So my map looks a bit like this. ISW says that Ukraine is taking ground from the south. So if we are to believe ISW, they moved into these towns here, into this town and this village, and has since then more than likely moved up this road here to reach town and establish a presence. This is where you had Ukrainian pickup trucks. So say they took this large mining facility, factory area, whatever it is, and then moved along the highway here into town here, which is interesting if you think about it, because right here you have large trench lines that supposedly the Russians are in control of. So how did you pass through this road here with Russians in these trenches? Maybe an indication that either no one is occupying the trenches, or maybe Ukrainians have reclaimed these trenches, right? So it's a bit of a patchwork at the moment, a bit unclear. Multiple mappers, it has to be said, many mappers claim that the push to Myrne went through Mykolaivka rather than Mykhalaivka. So the area here might be under Ukrainian control, even if my map says it's Russian, right? So several mappers are claiming this push, but Ukraine control map and ISW both seem to indicate that the push for Myrne came through this area here between the lakes, coming up this way. So I think this is a halfway decent representation of reality, with the Russians occupying parts here of Novoekonomice, Ukraine having taken control of this part of the battlefield and can move up to Myrne. And like I said, yes, I was talking a lot about the Operation Hopium, as someone in the comments section called it, this push north to Kopcheve, but I also said the most likely outcome from Ukraine being in Myrne is Ukraine applying pressure on Novoekonomice, seeing as they have cut the supplies into Novoekonomice from the east, and they held these streets here, and in so doing were a real threat to the Russian logistics coming in from the north. And Nova Ekonomice being under pressure. We can now see Ukraine making moves on Novo Ekonomice, coming up here, securing a factory here, taking this large industrial complex here, and now moving into this part of town and coming in from the south and establishing a presence here. So the move on Myrne has an effect on the battlefield, and that effect is being felt in Nova Ekonomice, with the Russians being forced back gradually, day by day at this point. So first it was this factory, then it was this push, then this push, now this push. So rather substantial gains in this tactical area. If you zoom out, it's just dots on the map, but in the region, the tactical region, the tactical area of Novo Ekonomice, these are substantial gains. Russia is trying to push in from the south. We're seeing it on ISW, on Andrew Perpetua, and Mayakovsk 73 and everyone. There is a push here. Russia has been trying to establish a presence in this factory or mine or whatever it is in order to threaten Ukrainian positions here from the south. We talked about this before. But if Ukraine can push in here and open up the road to Myrne through Nova Ekonomice, the Russian push in the south won't be able to have an impact on Myrne, since the Ukrainians can move everything they need along this main highway into Myrne to strengthen their forward positions. So the push on Myrne will have an effect. The Russians understand that if Ukraine can move units into Myrne, then Operation Hopium could very well become reality. The Russians have to fortify this box here, fortify Kopcheva, and they need to move in units here to begin threatening the Ukrainians from the south, and fortifying and locking the Ukrainians in place here in Myrne, so that Ukraine can't break out from Myrne towards Kopcheva. Because like we've said, if Ukraine takes this box, takes Kopcheva, they have effectively cut off the entire Russian forward formation here from reinforcements and from supplies. North of Kopcheva, wide open fields where Russian vehicles will be hunted down by drones, and you can't move on foot in cover to the front line either. You have to run across open fields here, exposing you to drones if you're on foot. And take a look at the end of this windbreak, open fields again exposing yourself to drones. So Ukrainian drones will be hunting here, and they will be hunting here should the Ukrainians manage with Operation Hopium and reaching Kopcheva. So yeah, that is the front line and the situation here at Novo Ekonomice. Ukraine is slowly but surely regaining momentum at Pokrovsk. The city, Pokrovsk and Myrna, I told you, the twin cities that could break the Russian army if they went in too soon. And did they enter Pokrovsk too soon? Did they cross the river at Razine too early? Did they make these advances here prematurely? You never know. But Pokrovsk does appear to become the critical battlefield that I predicted it would become. So yeah, I'm guessing this video is gonna upset a bunch of Vatniks. Oh no, Vatnik tears. Anyway, it is what it is. Ukraine is pushing Russia back in Sumy Oblast. It appears as if they're ready to take another town in this crucial battlefield, and at Pokrovsk this what I predicted could be the defining battle of the war here at Pokrovsk. Well, the Russians have struggled. They have, as we can see, the respect they have for the situation at Pokrovsk with the Ukrainian defenses. They don't really want to push in too hard into Pokrovsk because they know that could crush their army. And when they made the move, Ukraine was prepared for it, countered, and they are now exploiting gaps in the Russian line, and looks like they might actually, hopefully, within a week or two, maybe secure Novo Economice once more. Anyway, that's going to have to be it. I hope I'll see you in the next one and that you found this interesting. As always, go på marsch, Ukraine, and give them hell.